Hello everybody, my name is Connor and I am here with Purple Luffy versus Green Purple Doflamingo. So we end up going first, draw one, or get our Dawn and pass. He unfortunately plays out the Baby 5 Searcher looking for a Don Quixote Pirates card. And yeah, I haven't played against Green Purple Dofi in a really long time, but I know this is my buddy Zach. He and I were talking about, and a bunch of other guys, we were talking about what beats up Blue Dofi, and I said Birdcage, and he said, oh, that sounds fun, and I regret it. But he ends up picking up Spiderweb off of the Don Quixote Pirates Searcher, which I forgot that it was Don Quixote Pirates, but we end up getting to getting our 3 Dawn, and I'm gonna go ahead and leader ability to ramp a Dawn just because I want to ramp aggressively. I want to be able to drop these large bodies on board, and just to be able to be not in the birdcage basically. So we end up swinging really aggressively at life, and he ends up taking. I wasn't the biggest fan of leaving the Baby 5 up, but I wanted to try and aggress him, and I know next turn I can get Baby 5, so I think one more card isn't the worst idea. And here might have been a little bit of a misplay, but I'm thinking about playing Magellan next turn, which realistically, if he's playing Birdcage, minusing 2 Dawn is another way to keep his cage, but he gets the Diamante off of the Baby 5 Search with 3 Dawn remaining. I'm not really sure what he can do. He could probably swing into me aggressively if he wanted, or even drop the Rosinante blocker if he has that, and then swing 6. So I feel like he has a couple options, and he seems to be thinking through them. I'm just trying to figure out what do I do depending on what he does. But he swings 5, which I wasn't really expecting, so I go ahead and counter out, and he ends up passing, which is fine by me, in all honesty. We go ahead, get our 2 Dawn, and yeah, I'm thinking that this is a decent time to drop the Magellan. I'm going to swing 6 into Baby 5, want Baby 5 out of here, and he is actually thinking about saving Baby 5, but he does end up letting her go, which is great. And we drop 5, minusing a Dawn, make him minus 1 of his Dawn for the Magellan, which is right in that glare spot, right where Jinbei is. I swear I was like, this should be a good spot. I will try another spot next time I go play here. But yeah, so we are able to drop Magellan, get him to minus a Dawn. Feeling pretty okay about that. He is going to get stuck in a birdcage if he has it. I'm hoping at this point he doesn't have it. But he swings 5, and I go ahead and counter, and boom, there it is. The birdcage, unfortunately. And we get another Magellan, and now I'm like, okay, this is super useless. And part of me is torn because I'm thinking about not swinging Magellan just so he doesn't have a way to KO it. But I also kind of want to swing Magellan, so I am going to go ahead and separate the 5 Dawn. We're probably going to go 6 and 7, one way or another, depends on who we give the Dawn to. But we go ahead and go 7 at lead, and with the 2 Dawn up, I think, if I remember correctly, he is going to go ahead and he gives me 2 cards to counter. I go ahead and leader ability to ramp another Dawn, and I go ahead and swing 7. He ends up tapping 2 to play the Spiderweb. Doesn't have anything to restand, and while I was tempted to play the Zorojuro, I decide play Queen. I'll get 2 cards. I'm definitely stressed looking at my hand. I do go ahead and discard the Magellan just because I have one on board. I don't really want another one. So Yeah, I'm nervous because I don't have a lot of counters, and I've already taken 2 of my life here. But he ends up swinging 7 at lead, and I'm thinking about taking it. I'm thinking about countering. I go to rest the queen to counter, and then I go, yes, Birdcage is up. Never mind. That would be silly. So I go ahead and take this one, getting a Zoro. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I never see Zoro Juro, and now, of course, I see 2 when I'm playing against Birdcage. Pretty unfortunate all in all, but we go ahead, we get the Frenosuke, which is a 2k counter, which is great. There, Magellan stays arrested, the leader comes back up, and we are at 9, so, there, we could drop one of our Kaidos, we could drop Linlin, and it looks like we are going to take the safe route and drop Linlin, the beautiful alt-art Linlin that I pulled. I love that Linlin so much. I might be interested in getting a alt-art playset, but I go ahead and trash a Zoro Juro, and I go ahead and heal. So I think Linlin is so good in this deck. I hadn't really gotten the opportunity to play it a lot, but yeah, in these games, at this tournament, she did her work. But I swung 5, and he unfortunately did have to use Spiderweb to get out of that. So big bummer there. And seeing as he's almost at 10 Dawn, and I'm thinking, okay, I don't have to live with Birdcage much longer, but he ends up tapping 7 and dropping the Eustace Captain Kid, which is a very good card. I really wanted to run it in Purple Luffy for a while, but there are just better options. But in Doflamingo, I don't think it's that bad. So he ends up swinging 6 at me. Thankfully, I do have a couple of more 2Ks, but I also have a little bit more life. And there I am getting my pack. Hooray, my participation pack. But we end up giving him the Frenosuke to 2k out, and he passes turn. We get the Law, which is... Law's good to have. I don't think he has enough cards to make it, really good, but it is good to have, just to kind of be able to block her up. And now I'm in a weird spot because I could potentially block her up. I could swing, I could drop Kaido, but I'm going to go ahead and swing 7, so no Kaido this time. And I am thinking about dropping the Zoro Juro to actually be able to get a search or 2 off. Trying to figure out how I want to swing with the Linlin. I just swing the 9 no Dawn attached. And they go ahead and play, I believe, off white, if I'm not mistaken, and I'll search for a Don Quixote Pirates character, as well as give me a 1k there. So I'm okay with that. We go ahead and drop Zoro just to cycle through, see what we're gonna get. And I'm so happy we did. And I forgot, for some reason I thought he was 4, but he's 5, so I take the Son Goro, and I still want Onami in this case. I'm thinking that I'm going to stay high on Dawn for a little bit at the very least, and yeah, Onami will just give me another way to cycle out some of the dead cards I have in hand. So we go ahead, we play the Law, and no Law effect, so we no minusing because he doesn't have enough cards to rip, and we pass. So I'm feeling pretty good with the Queen and the Law, and he does have the kid and the 7 cost, the 7 cost kid and leader ability, so I'm still feeling pretty good. I'm thinking about going Kaido soon. I mean, my board is pretty big, and there he goes ahead and drops the Doflamingo, freezing the Magellan, the Linlin, and the Luffy, which is pretty unfortunate for me. 7 Dawn swings 7 kid and ends up buffing his leaders. So I go ahead and take, and we get a 0 cost, which I'm like, oh, thank God. He goes ahead and swings 6. I give him the Vernosuke, and yeah, I'm feeling so much better at this point. Although my board is very full. So trying to figure out what I want to do. What is my next play? I could just drop Sanji. I could swing with Zoro, drop Sanji. It's pretty unfortunate that my big Linlin is stunned. I don't want to remove Linlin, obviously, because she will stand. So I am gonna swing that. I am thinking about swinging that Zoro. Just trying to figure out how I want to do this. What my best option is. We just go ahead and swing 6 with Zoro, and he gives us the baby 5 because his leader is a big body. And yeah, so we end up trashing Magellan, just making it so I wanted to KO Magellan, not him, and we end up dropping the Kaido. I don't hate that play. I think that is an okay play, and I think I'm going to swing that Kaido into the kid, and he plays the spiderweb, but bringing himself up and we end up passing turn. So overall, not feeling like super thrilled about that play, but not feeling terrible. I think at this point we can play the Sanji for less, and this really scared me here. He ends up dropping Sugar and arresting my Law, which I was like, oh no. So I'm thinking, okay, at this point he's got a large dopey swing and he's got potentially 3 large swings heading my way, and I do have a decent amount of counter. He ends up loading a bunch on to Kid and swinging, and I go ahead and counter. He ends up loading a bunch on Doflamingo, and I am thinking about countering. He ends up swinging. He's swinging into one of my larger bodies, so I give him the counter, and he ends up passing turn. So we do keep some of our large bodies on board, which is good. Unfortunately, both Law and Zoro are frozen at this point. Yeah, just trying to figure out what I want to do. Draw for turn. We get another Law. I think I can play. I could drop both Law and Sanji, but we end up swinging 10 into Kid. I really want to get the Kid off of board so he doesn't have the minus ability for the Birdcage to stay up, and we do end up getting Kid off board, which is super helpful there. I just go ahead and swing 10 into Dofi. He gives us a 1k. Probably could have cleared Dofi if I had wanted, but we end up tapping Sanji, playing Sanji, and he uses Sugar to rest it, and I was like, oh shit. So I don't swing lead there, it seems like, which I should have played something down. I forgot about Sugar, I'm not even gonna lie. I should have played something, maybe like Law, waited for Sugar to rest, swung my leader into Sugar, and then played Sanji. But he ends up swinging pretty aggressively into my bodies there, and I counter with no cards up. I'm thinking at this point he is going to be able to counter or to swing into one of my bodies and get it, and he ends up swinging into life, and I take it, playing the Hody Jones, and yeah, seeing if he has anything he can rest. He doesn't, unfortunately. Swinging the 8, and yeah, I do have to go ahead and take it, but I'm hoping that with what with the clapback, if you will, I can get game. And Birdcage pops, killing everything 5 cost and under. And yeah, I have a decent amount of Dawn now, so it's all about mathing properly, which I think is the hardest part of this game. I know I mention this every time I have to math for lethal, but oh my god. So I'm thinking that most of these have to hit, so I am stressed. I swing 8 at lead, hoping that he doesn't have an event. I'm trying to get an event out of his hand because we have to hit 3 times to win. And he is torn on if he wants to take the 8 here or counter out. He does end up countering out and passing turn, or excuse me, not passing turn. And I feel like that in a way kind of gets us in a comfortable spot. So we end up going 9 because he's got 1 card in hand. We go 9. Another card in hand. So we go 10 and 11. We are able to get the win here on the Doflamingo. Actually, I lied. He countered out with bird cages. He's too good. He's too goated. But no, I feel like that game was really close. I think that we did a pretty good job of getting our bodies on board and saving our bodies. And yeah, I think that was a really good game. Of course, I think there are a couple mistakes I made, but yeah, that's why I post. So let me know if you guys see what you guys would have done differently anytime. And yeah, I'll shut up now. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this video, hit that like button down below. Helps me out more than you could ever know. Go ahead and subscribe if you are new. And I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.